Hey everybody, Fabian for Liberty, Internet Anchorman TV, FabianForLiberty.com. Preparing for the US presidential election. What are some of the outcomes to expect if either Romney or Obama win? Considering there's no real difference in policy, what's it mean to the economy, geopolitical events? Let's find out. Hey everyone, Fabian for Liberty, Internet Anchorman TV, FabianForLiberty.com. So, what happens if Obama wins? What happens if Romney wins? Okay, I think last week, or this last Tuesday, the debate, we saw some really great examples. How Romney supported a assault weapons ban. Again, remember, assault weapon is a semi-automatic gun, like any other semi-automatic gun, that just has some cosmetic features that make it look more like a battle rifle, but they're still semi-automatic. We already have laws in place for automatic guns. Machine guns are illegal unless you have a Class 3 license and you have to jump through all these hoops to get it. So Romney, in his state, supports a ban on guns. He supports carbon taxes. He's supported abortion in the past. He supported Obamacare. The people who wrote his bill wrote Obamacare. He says he's against it now, but he supported the bank bailouts. He supported the GM bailouts. His running mate, the guy who's supposed to be, Paul Ryan, the guy who's supposed to be this brilliant economic mind, wrote letters to Joe Biden saying how economic stimulus was a good thing and it helps the economy, and he wanted stimulus money for his state. So, ladies and gentlemen, I get so sick and tired of people trying to tell me that Romney is any different than Obama. His rhetoric may sound different, but when it comes down to it, there will be no difference in policy. Let's start off with the budget deficits. If Obama continues in office, there's no doubt he will continue trillion-dollar deficits, but will Romney be any different? Think about it. If Romney stops spending by any significant measure or implements austerity, this economy goes into a depression. It's 71% consumer-driven consumer spending. You can make the argument, although unsuccessfully, because it's not really based in true economic growth principles, that Obama's creation of this vast welfare state that's increased by 37% in just the last year, welfare now more than Social Security, over $1 trillion, you can say that at least people get that money and spend it in the economy, where Romney would maybe cut that, but put $2 trillion into the Army, into the Pentagon, where that doesn't trickle so much into the economy for the average person. It goes to the military-industrial complex to launch wars. I mean, this notion that war is good for the economy, ladies and gentlemen, we've been in war for the last 11 years in Afghanistan. And has that helped the economy? Of course not. War is not good for the economy. That's total BS. But then we have Romney's $5 trillion tax cut. And again, anybody who's looked at this all says the same thing. It is a $5 trillion tax cut. Where is he going to pay for it? Listen, if anybody loves the idea of zero capital gains, it's me. I run a private equity firm, okay? I would love zero capital gains. And look, I believe in zero capital gains. I think we should abolish the IRS, get rid of the income tax altogether, fund the government with tariffs, because if the government is small enough, then we'd be able to operate it that way. Of course, that will never happen. But both these men believe in big government. Romney has a whole record of believing in big government. To think it's any different is really, it's insanity. What about monetary inflation? Obama is clearly in favor of monetary inflation. He clearly supports Ben Bernanke. He clearly believes in the policies Bernanke is pursuing. Now, Romney many times has said that he believes in Ben Bernanke, that we shouldn't audit the Federal Reserve, we shouldn't politicize the Federal Reserve. Then he also says that he'd fire Ben Bernanke. So which one is it? And if he fired Ben Bernanke, who would he appoint? Because almost every senior Fed policy guy there believes in monetary inflation. They believe in more money printing to buy our treasuries. The fact is that if they stopped the money printing, who's going to buy the U.S. treasuries? Last year, 61% of U.S. treasuries were bought by the Federal Reserve. Is Romney going to stop that? The economy would completely collapse. It's such a scam that I don't even know what else I could say. For people that are new to these videos, I don't know what else I could tell you for you to believe that Romney and Obama are they're part of the same, they're running plays out of the same playbook. It's just, like I said, different rhetoric. At the end of the day, they answer to the same mega banks that are financing their campaigns. And it's not even an election process, it's more of a selection process. Here's from an article from GoldSeek, goldseek.com. It talks about how it isn't necessarily true that an Obama victory will lead to more monetary inflation than a Romney victory. For starters, Bernanke is certainly not alone in his ignorance about the monetary inflation affects the economy. Almost all other senior people at the Fed are just as ignorant, so there is no good reason to expect that Romney's appointee would be any better. This means that there will probably be a lot more QE over the years ahead, irrespective of who comes out ahead on the 6th of November. For seconds, the risk of the U.S. becoming involved in another war would arguably be higher with Romney as president, and wars invariably result in rapid inflation of the currency, which is the last point I would make about a difference between the two. Romney's already put it on record. He's going to confront China for what he says China's a big currency manipulator, which is literally insane. By the way, China's keeping its currency down like Japan's keeping its currency down. They're all keeping their currency down to fuel their exports. Of course they're doing that. It's the race towards the bottom. We're doing that, Romney, and you know we're doing that. You just know that talking tough on China has pulled well for the middle class and for people that really don't know about how all the other economies, all the other currencies are being debased to try to improve their economy. Of course, you're not going to say that, and of course the Commission on Presidential Debates is going to make sure no one asks that question. But Romney thinks Russia is our biggest security threat. Romney believes that Romney will go to war with Iran. There's no doubt about that. What happens then? Who's going to pay for those wars? How do we pay for those wars? I'm not going to ever tell somebody how to vote. But I definitely do want to keep the pressure on the fact that there is no difference between these two candidates. Again, Mark Faber was asked if he had a gun to his head and he was told, or he actually said this, when asked who he would vote for, that, you know, if he had to pick. And he said if he had a gun to his head and he had to vote for Obama or Romney, he would rather pull the trigger than vote for either. Because the truth is, like Mark Faber, like Jim Rogers, all of these guys are telling people the truth. They're apolitical. There's no difference between the two. Both of them, this economic trajectory that we are on is not only unsustainable, but it is impossible for either one of these two people to turn it around. And the people that finance their campaigns have no interest in turning this around because they will benefit much more from the global reset that they are already preparing for by buying gold, farmland, tangible things, real estate like crazy, and a lot of big money's poured into real estate. I'll get into all that in another video, and I'll talk about it more on the show this Friday on American Freedom Radio from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. On AmericanFreedomRadio.com, or go to FabianForLiberty.com to check that out as well. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear, if you're new to my videos, why you think Romney or Obama will be any better than the other, and why you would vote for Romney if you know that there's no real difference between the two, because I get that sometimes too. I know Romney's not the greatest, but I'm going to vote for him anyways because I hate Obama. Well, you might hate one of the guys or not like one of them or the other, but let's look at their policies and let's look at their track record. Actions speak much louder than their rhetoric and their words, especially in these last couple of debates. Thanks for watching. I'm out.